Okay, so we were talking about the classes of levers or levers. So you've got class 1, class 2, class 3. Let's talk about the parts and pieces. So when it comes to levers, you've got the lever itself, which is the structure, the rigid structure. In this case, it's going to be your bones that are going to be the rigid structure because your bones are basically hard enough that they don't bend and bow. Okay? The fulcrum in this case, that fixed point is going to be your elbow, because when I bend my arm here, this moves. This does not really move. All this does is it pivots around this fixed point. Okay? The effort is what causes that movement. So if you look here, this is going to be the bicep or the brachialis muscle, because it's the one pulling to get this to move. So you can call that the effort, you can call it the pull, okay? Now, the resistance or the weight is the thing that is trying to prevent you from moving it. So in this case, let's say that this is a weight, okay? When I'm pulling like this to get this to rise up, this is weighted and gravity is actually pulling against it to try and prevent me from causing this movement. So when it comes to a lever or a lever, you basically have three main parts. You've got the fulcrum, you've got the effort, and you've got the weight, okay? So think of the word few, F-E-W, few, okay? So looking at that or considering that, I have few, right? F is going to be fulcrum. E is going to be effort. And W is going to be weight. Okay? Now, keep those words in mind, because the way that you distinguish between a class 1 lever, a class 2 lever, and a class 3 lever is where these are in the orientation, where they're oriented at. So, few, fulcrum, effort, weight. In a class 1 lever, okay, dead center in the middle is going to be your fulcrum. Okay, so fulcrum is in the middle. And you can actually see that here. Here's the fulcrum, okay, in the middle. That means that the other two are E and W for that word few are going to be on the other sides. So I can have my effort and I can have my weight. Or, as long as fulcrum stays in the middle, it doesn't matter. I can have my weight and I can have my effort. The best way to describe a class 1 lever is a seesaw, because you've got that solid structure of the actual wood on top of its pivot point in the middle. Now, depending on which end you're on, if you're down at the bottom, right? If you're down at the bottom of this seesaw, I try, nope, there. If you're down at the bottom of this seesaw, then you are the weight. You're the one that needs to get picked up, right? The person up here has to put the effort in. And just depending on whether you're in this orientation or whether you're in that orientation is going to dictate which side you are, whether you're the weight or whether you're the effort. But in all honesty, it doesn't matter, because in all honesty, the thing that's important in the orientation of the class 1 lever is that the fulcrum is in the middle. That's it. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So in the case of the second class lever, okay, the thing that's in the middle is going to be the weight. Okay, so as far as the other two go, it doesn't matter where they go. I need an F and I need an E. So fulcrum can be over here, E can be over here, the effort can be over here. And again, putting this in the middle, just as easily the fulcrum can be on this side with the effort on this side. It doesn't matter as long as the weight is in the middle. The best example of this that I can think of is a wheelbarrow. Because if you think about it with a wheelbarrow, when you lift up, you're lifting the weight that's in the middle. The effort is on one end, and that wheel is at the other end. That's the fulcrum. So if I were to turn this way and do the same thing, who's in the middle still? The weight is still in the middle. It hasn't changed. So when you lift, that weight stays in the middle. Fulcrum can be on this side or this side, just depending on which way I'm facing. Let's see. So the class 3 lever or lever. With this one, I've had F in the middle, I've had W in the middle. So in this case, E is going to be in the middle, okay, the effort. So we've got the fulcrum, we've got the weight, okay? Again, effort in the middle. It doesn't matter where these two are as long as effort's in the middle. So the weight could be on this side, the fulcrum can be on that side. The best way for me to describe this is a pair of tweezers. So if you think about it, the pair of tweezers, right? You've got, one second, I'll be right back. Okay, pair of tweezers, right? So with a pair of tweezers, in the middle is where you are squeezing, right? So your effort is in the middle. The weight, where are you? Is what I'm lifting. But if I turn it this way, it's on this side. The fulcrum, the fixed point, is here. So when you think about a pair of tweezers, the effort is always dead center in the middle. That's where you're pinching, right? So again, what's on each side doesn't really necessarily matter in the grand scheme of things. It's what's in the middle. So if you know that with a first class lever, F is in the middle, fulcrum's in the middle. Second class lever, weight is in the middle. Third class lever, effort is in the middle. Then the other two just kind of fall in place no matter which one you put on either side. It doesn't really matter. Who's sitting in the middle of that trio is what's important. So some people will, I guess, make it a lot more complicated than that. But to be honest, you don't really have to make it more complicated than that. If you know who's in the middle and you know that it's FEW for fulcrum, effort, weight, then you know exactly where everybody goes. Okay? All right. So those are the 3 levers, and that is the end of the Chapter 10 lecture. Everything else is going to be on your homework. Remember, the homework counts as part of your exam, so you need to get that done. Okay.